Good morning, Mr. Harold Kadenga, Esther Zamimba, Chisomo Njewa, the Matthews Makapatira, and Owen Chisinga. I believe that you are the people who are involved one way or the other in the conceptualization of the concept note. I just thought that I should contribute from Denmark so that we have an internationalized or a universal concept note seen from the different perspectives, especially as I would like us to speak with one voice regardless of where our idea is presented, be it locally, in the churches, internationally, in parliament or parliaments around the world, in Congress in the United States, in the EU, the corridors of power in the EU, at Parliament in Denmark, and in institutions and business schools, and all these places right across the world. I would like for it to be a very uniform presentation. So therefore, I give you my contribution to it so that we have it more or less being in tandem with what you're doing on the ground. Okay, first of all, my sincere thanks to you all for responding this way. Even though it is a very sad issue that is bringing us together, very much like a funeral. In fact, we are coming to the funeral of trees. So many trees have been killed, buried, not even buried, just burned, cremated, without any remembrance whatsoever, gone. Many years of invested into their life has disappeared. We should all know that it is a funeral. And the ones who are weeping are the angels of God, the insects that God made, the birds, the bees, they are all at the funeral right now. The only ones who are not at the funeral are we the people in our ignorance who continue to kill these trees without replacing them, continue to kill them without putting them back into the circle of life where they belong. Okay, so we are indeed at a funeral, but as at any funeral, it is very good to see the people who show up, who show the value of the deceased, to show that the deceased was of value. Okay, so I thank you very much for coming to this funeral. But with every funeral, we always have the hope of a resurrection, and that is what we're working with right now. We're working with the resurrection of the trees, the resurrection of our societies, of our communities, of our energies, of our finances, economics, of our values, and of our morals, and all these things that matter to us. The resurrection of our relationship with the Creator, so that we can go back to being in the position of being custodians of this planet, responsible custodians of this planet. So these are the opening remarks from myself. My name is Jimmy Anderson, as you know. I'm a Rastaman, a musician, an activist. In this context, it is best for you to know me as a social economic strategist or a financial strategist, in a sense. That's the best way to know me within this context. The best way to know me within this context is as a social economic strategist, which means that I look at the social economic situation and we make a strategy to redress the situation, to improve the situation, or to make use of whatever dynamics or trends there may be in that situation, to create a flow, to create a synergy, to create a coming together for the common good. So that is what the tactic is. This is in reflection of my Rastafari faith, that when Bob Marley simplifies it and says, one love, let's get together and feel all right. This is what it's like on the ground. This is one love on the ground. This is one love in implementation. This is one love pragmatically. This is one love in practical terms. This is what it is, one love in action. That is what I'm dealing with. And in many times you will find that what Bob Marley says in concept and in concept, and many times you will find that what Bob Marley says in concept, I deliver in action and in reality. So that is the main relationship between Bob Marley's lifespan and life work and my lifespan and my life work. I'm the hearer and the doer of what Bob Marley says. And this continues amongst us all as mankind over and over. So reggae music is central to this movement. Many youths will be involved because of reggae music. Many of the youths that you want to come in. So reggae comes in as one of the main important tools of public engagements. Now, we cannot just have engagement without participation. It's like you become engaged with a woman, you've got to participate within the life of being with a woman. So public engagement that has been given by reggae music and other forms that interest people, whether it's sports or football or running or debate or whatever, all these things of public engagement, even education as we know it, even churches as we know them, all these are tools and platforms of public engagement. They need to become, they need to work hand in hand with two as platforms of public participation, you know. So that's what we're dealing with. How do we get them to participate? Reggae music is one of the tools of engagement, and I'm here to ensure of the reggae participation for all people. Okay, so that's why we have a reggae party this side, to raise the money for what you're doing that side. So let me just see if I'm forgetting any of my notes. It is, let's just look at the concept of socioeconomic strategist. I came up with the name because I saw what I was doing and I looked at what I was doing and I had to describe it. And so I described it and I came up with that name, socioeconomic strategist, which means I work with strategy all the time. It's important to be aware of that, because if you don't think in terms of strategy when you meet me, then you could get confused. It is very important to have a preconceived idea that when you meet Jimmy, it is about strategy. You know, strategies are not necessarily the idea. Strategies are not necessarily the end result. A strategy is a strategy. So when you look at a strategy, it helps you not to judge it as the end result or as the end all and be all of anything. It is important to remember it is a strategy, and the strategy can be changed. Okay, so do not judge the quality of the man according to the strategy. The man and the strategy are not necessarily the same thing.